Fire Force, episode 6, chat. Let's take a look at this. I'm not rhyming like Cat in the Hat, all right? That's copyright. Anyway, we get to see a little bit of flashback of the quote unquote bad guy. I say quote unquote because I'm not really sure how bad the guy is, and I honestly don't know his name. The guy with the he lost his eye, the fire guy. We'll see. We'll see. I'm terrible with names, chat. We see a little bit of flashback and see how dedicated his childhood was or is. Was I think is a proper term. How dedicated he was to the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost or praying, right? Uh, and you see the younger version of other eye patch guy. There's a lot of eye patch guys here, chat. I wonder because they both right. They both saw the fire goddess or whatever the heck she is, the Adola Bob's Burgers, and they both lost their eye for it. However, their interpretation of what they saw is completely different. It made him a stronger believer. It made him into a non-believer. Or I think he's a believer, but he's like, nah, bruh. Nope. Nope. You can easily see how different they are, even though they saw the same thing, right? And I think that's very interesting. I loved this episode, chat, but I also was slightly annoyed by it. Slightly, just a little bit. Let me tell you why. I love it because the fight scene was amazing. That's probably a reason why I don't have many like screenshots of it, because I want you to go see it. So I'm not going to, if you haven't seen this yet, like the animation was on point. Exactly, Cream Remedy. Jeez Louise, King Remedy. Like the animation was on point. So when I hear people say that they were disappointed by the beginning after the end anime, I am sorry. The beginning after the end anime is probably a very great manhwa. I think that's called for because it came out of North Korea. I think South Korea. Sorry, South Korea. So I am very sorry about that. Rusty says, "Are you gonna play RimWorld?" Yes, we are. We got 2 horror games after this anime talk. Because we do our recordings live. But it's very sad to see a very great anime or anime potential, really. That manhwa, the beginning after the end, has very great potential, but it won't live up to Solo Leveling, Fire Force, and others, right? Very sad. Very sad. But man, was this. Oh, one of the reasons why this annoyed me, right? One of the reasons why this episode annoyed me was because he gave this speech about being old and set in his ways. And that annoys me so much, right? That's like, let's say you kept getting your foot smashed under a, I don't know, a foot smasher, right? Like, and someone says, bro, just move your foot. And he's like, I'm not moving my foot. I'm too old. And like, I'm too old to like do something new. I'm like, just move your foot. Just move your foot. And he's like, no, I'm just too old. I can't move on from this. But you're the young generation. You're different. So you can, do something completely different. Right. That annoys the crap out of me. That doesn't annoy me that much. I think a Klondike bar annoys me more than than this. But what wouldn't I do for a Klondike bar, chat? Say less. But it's he refuses to break away from his destructive belief, right? He just refuses to do that. Rusty says, "Oh, not much of a fan. Not a fan of only feet combat." I know. I was actually thinking about that, Rusty. I was actually thinking about that. I was like, why? It's also one of the reasons why I like Arthur so much. I like his blade. He's funny, and I just like his blade. He's pretty awesome. However, I was wondering, I'm like, why he could probably get so much force out of his fighting if he just uses arms, right? He just like uses feet to propel him forward, just to really turn himself into a bullet. And then I was like, he'll probably die if he does that. He would probably die because he's got all of his strength in his feet. I'm assuming. I will tell you though, even though I understand what Rusty is saying, at the same time, it's a very unique. It's a very unique, right? Like King Remedy says a huge spoiler. It turns out every character is weak to Klondike bars. Pretty much. I think so. I think so too. Mm-hmm. You could. Yeah, I 100% think so. It's so funny. We do get to see a little bit of his baby sister in this, and I know some of you are like, "Sister? What? He's got a sister?" No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. His baby brother. We do see a little bit of him. I think that's pretty awesome. I want to know. Okay, first off, I just realized something. But second, I'll get to that in a second. I want to know. There was a scene a little while back where he was kind of in a comatose state. Remember, chat, when we played RimWorld, some of our characters they just go into a comatosis or something, whatever. They just like freeze up and lock up, right? That's what happened to him, right? Of course, he was less blurry at the time. Right now, he's kind of blurry. Cameraman, back up, jeez. So that one girl with the crown over her eyes, she was like messing with him. What did she do there? Like, I want to know what she was doing. It's probably in the manga. It's probably in the manga. Also, one thing I noticed is that her eyes, right, in another scene, her arrow eyes were down. Like in a few seconds later, her arrow eyes were down, but now they're up. I wonder what's that about. Like, I wonder. It's clearly has something to do with her power, or is it something her mood? Maybe. So with this character, however, I'm really interested in seeing something that I've noticed in this episode is that she might have been able to she might actually have more power than I thought. This one might actually have more power than I thought. And I never really realized that until this episode. King Remedy says, Fire Force is a nice breath of fresh air. The main characters having fire feet combat is so nice compared to everyone using magic now as a bland system. That actually doesn't make sense. Like he's using his power. I think the only one who can compete with that kind of logic, King Remedy, is My Hero Academia, because it's very like everyone has to be unique with what they have. It's My Hero Academia and some of the characters in Fire Force seem like it's a dice roll, right? A dice roll of abilities, right? Right? Because man, you have to really, you have to ask yourself, what was the writers smoking when they were writing these characters? They all have their own unique abilities. My Hero Academia took that to a whole nother level, because you know how many characters? There are so many different kind of. There's a guy with the spray bottle for a head in My Hero Academia, right? It's crazy. He's gonna squirt out his own brain. Anyway, chat, we see a little bit of a fourth wall break, and I'll say a little, like 1% of a fourth wall break, because she says that they're not going to die. The good guys, you know, the ones we rooted for. She says that, well, they're not gonna die. I can see it, and I think that's interesting, because if they died, that would probably be the end of the anime, right? So she's like, nah, that's not happening. She literally just get, that's not gonna happen. I think her and Deadpool could get along. You know what? That's exactly, yeah. She and Deadpool would get along. King Remedy says My Hero Academia would probably be to top 20 anime if the fans weren't crazy. Really? What's going on with the fans? Are they like trying to wokeify the show or something like that? But I honestly think that she and Deadpool could get along, chat. 100%. 100%. She's crazy. And also he is crazy too. And they can see things that no one else can. Yeah, I think that makes sense. But I want to see what's going on with her. We don't get to see Arthur inside of this episode, chat. We don't get to see him. And he's probably my favorite character in this, Arthur. I want to see how that how that goes on. King Remedy says the fans have a history of being gross and attacking people that have different opinions. Really? Hmm. Hmm. You know what? The fans kind of ruined for me, chat. It was what anime? Not anime. What cartoon? It was uh, Steven's Universe. Yeah, yeah. I'm not a big fan of that actually. Cause I like Steven's Universe because it's like it's a very beautiful it's art, right? To me, Steven's Universe is a very art kind of. I know this is off topic, by the way. I'm sorry, but is a very artistic show, right? But then you have someone come. No, no. I'm gonna explain it like this. Let's say you're watching a magic trick, right? And someone and you're like amazed by it, and someone comes in like, "Hey, you want to know how the magic is done?" Like, no, I don't want to know. So, well, I'm gonna tell you anyway. I'm like, don't, don't do that. It's kind of like so Steven's Universe. They have you're sitting there watching it like this is amazing, and then you have like the fans who are like, "See, this preaches being yourself and all this other stuff," and I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I just want to love it for what it is. Jeez. Okay. Anyway, on with the back of the back to the topic at hand. King Remedy says, same. Arthur is the best character. He has basic power that on its own is boring, but his character makes it one of the coolest powers in the anime. Kind of like what's it called? Demon Slayer, right? The one who wears the yellow and he only has one move. There's something about characters who can only do one move. You also notice that in Frieren where her powers of attack is very basic. It's not flashy like others. I mean, it's flashy as all heck, but it's not overcomplicated like a lot of other uh, magic powers. Also, chat? Have you seen the meme where the main character is where Frieren meets uh I forget her name from Demon Slayer, the sister, the demon sister. Have you seen that meme? They just looking back at each other and she just blasts her with a magic power spell. That's crazy. I do. You know what, chat? I know this is off topic for Demon Slayer, but I think no. What, I already said it. I already said it. And what I was about to say is that I think there will be a uh a demon who's going to be like, hey, the best way to survive in this human world is to coexist. Because you know how they were talking about how the demons they just want to they do evil, they learn how to eat humans and all these things. I think the demons will figure out like, hey, we can eat humans. They will either find a new way or they will find humans that are right with getting eaten. I think so. That's really interesting. King Remedy says, I can't wait for the Infinity Castle movie or Arc Zensui Zenitsui. Uh look awesome. Just before the end of you saying these words I don't know and can't pronounce, but yes, I do want to see more. I do want to see more of that. Anyway, chat, this episode oh yeah. This episode of Fire Force was so great. You know that feeling you get when you watch when you go to the movie theater, right? Or watch any movie really that's really good. And then the opening music comes on. I mean, not opening, the ending like the ending song comes on. You know how great that feels or I wouldn't say great, but you know what I mean? You know the feeling of like watching a really good movie and then the ending song comes on and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, that was amazing." Yeah, that's what I got with this episode. Now, the ending song has been going on throughout the entire, season, of course, but this is the first time after the episode was over and I heard the music, I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I felt like I just got done watching a movie. That's what it did. It felt like I just got done watching a movie. And that's why this particular episode was great. 10 out of 10, chat. 10 out of 10. I I I was flabbergasted. Flabbergasted? Dill pickle. I was amazed by this. After I heard the ending song, I'm like, oh my goodness, this was a perfect work of art. This episode. It was. It was. I want to get her off my screen. She's freaking me out. And yeah, she's got too much eyeballs. She's got not enough. Anyway, on with the rest of the show, chat.